I want to start with a scenario. It's a really specific and honestly an unsettling feeling, and I think you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Picture this. You're meeting up with an old friend.
Okay. And what kind of old friend are we talking about here?
I mean, someone from deep in the archives,
Yeah.
Someone you have just mountains of shared history with, inside jokes, shared traumas, all those years spent on couches doing nothing. They're supposed to be your safe place.
Right. So the expectation is huge. It's supposed to feel like a homecoming.
Exactly. It should be the easiest conversation in the world. You walk in, you see them, you sit down, and then just nothing.
A flat line.
It's worse than that. It's like a sheet of frosted glass just dropped between you. You can see them, and intellectually that you love this person, but you can't feel it. It's not anger, it's not sadness. It's just this terrifying void.
Hmm. That's a deeply scary place. Because your first thought is, I'm broken. You know? Did I become a sociopath? Is the friendship dead? Why am I completely numb?
Well, today we're diving into a piece of work that argues you aren't broken, you're just locked out. We're exploring the concept album, The Restricted Wing, by the artist Hi-Fi. And she calls this a film for the ears.
Which is a pretty bold claim, but honestly, it fits. This is not just a collection of songs. It's a really structured, almost architectural, deep dive into what happens to our memory when our timeline gets split in two.
I love that you said architectural, because that's the whole premise, isn't it? The core metaphor here is the architecture of memory. Ti-Fi's whole idea is that memory isn't just a cloud, it's a physical place with walls and doors and, most importantly, with locks.
Right. And the album, The Restricted Wing, it documents her struggle to get back to happy memories, which she calls the before after a trauma. But instead of using, dry clinical language, she gives us this incredible metaphor. The brain is a library.
And this metaphor is the engine for the whole project. So before we jump into the tracks, we have to set the scene. In this model, what does a healthy brain library look like?
In a healthy mind, you have a librarian. And in neuroscience terms, we're basically talking about the hippocampus. Yeah. This is the part of your brain that gives context to everything. The librarian's job is to take your experiences, stamp them with a time and a date, and file them into a coherent story.
So she's the one who says, this funny thing happened 5 years ago, and this sad thing is happening right now.
Precisely. She keeps the timeline straight. She makes sure that when you pull a memory, you know it's a memory, not a current threat. But the whole idea of the restricted wing is that this system has totally collapsed.
So in the album story, the library it's a mess. The lights are out, books are all over the floor, and the librarian has fled.
Or, more accurately, she's hiding in the basement. When trauma hits, when your system is flooded with cortisol and adrenaline, the hippocampus it shuts down. The librarian basically clocks out for safety.
That image is so vivid. You walk into your own mind looking for a file called Friendship, and there's just nobody behind the desk.
And that's our mission for this deep dive. We're going to trace how Ti-Fi uses this album as a kind of blueprint to coax that librarian back upstairs. Because the science she uses shows you can't just kick the door in. You have to make the room safe again first.
Okay, so let's start where the album starts. The inciting incident. This whole thing didn't start with a song. It started with a real-life conversation that just went wrong.
It did. Ti-Fi talks about meeting that old friend, expecting to feel that safety, and instead she felt like she was looking at them through, I think she said, a wire mesh.
That wire mesh idea is haunting. That's dissociation, right?
It is. It's a defense mechanism. She realized her brain, trying to block out a specific trauma, had basically cordoned off the entire era of her life that came before it.
That's the tragedy of it. The walls we build don't know the difference between a threat and a good memory. They just block everything.
It's scorched earth. To stop the pain, she lost the before. And that panic, that moment of realizing the file is gone, is where the first track, The Librarian, kicks in.
I want to talk about the sound on this track, because it tells the whole story before a single word is sung. It starts with this beautiful, classical grand piano.
Which is the librarian. It's order, it's logic, it's how things are supposed to be.
And then that piano literally smashes into a wall of sound. Distorted bass, rock drums at like 150 BPM.
That's the takeover. That's the sound of the stress response, the sympathetic nervous system hijacking the brain. And the lyric just asks, where did the librarian go, the one who runs the overflow? It's that moment you realize your internal filing system has completely failed. The survival brain is in charge now?
And the survival brain doesn't care about the Dewey Decimal System.
Not at all. It just drops the books and runs.
Which leads right into the next track, Torn Out. The imagery here felt so violent to me. We think of memory loss as this gentle fading, but this is something else entirely.
Oh, it is. It's aggressive. It's not passive decay. The lyrics talk about seeing the jagged edge where the story used to be. It feels like someone physically ripped pages from the book.
Why does the brain do that? Why not just close the book?
It's an association game. Her brain had connected that whole period of friendship, even the happy parts, with the trauma that came at the end of it. So to keep her safe, the brain just decides to remove the whole trigger. Rip out the chapter. No friend, no pain.
But then the next track, Water Damage, feels different. It's not that the page is gone, it's that you can't read it anymore.
Exactly. This is the concept of the blur. The ink has run, the happy memories and the sad memories have bled into each other. There's a line I love on that track. The sentences swell up like poison in a paper cup.
Poison in a paper cup. Wow, that's such a tactile image.
It perfectly captures how something that should be good, a memory of a friend, becomes toxic because the container is compromised. You take a sip, expecting nostalgia, and you get poison.
This moves us into Act 2 of the album, The Fortress. We're shifting from the chaos of the crash to the quiet defense. This is the part that really clicked for me with that feeling we started with.
This is the lockout phase.
Right. And the track is called Restricted Access.
And what's fascinating here is how she reframes the subconscious. We tend to think of it as this, mysterious saboteur. But here, she realizes it's not malicious. It's protective.
It's just a bouncer at a club.
It's a bouncer. And it locks the joy wing of the library because it's too close to the pain wing. If you open that door, the pain might get out. So, sorry, this whole area is restricted.
So you're just stuck on the other side of the velvet rope, looking through that wire mesh. You can see your friend, you can see the history, but you can't touch the feeling.
It's restricted.
Yeah.
And that leads to one of the most heartbreaking metaphors on the whole record, which is dust jackets.
Oof, this one hit hard. The lyric is, "You look like the person I used to know, but it's just a prop for the picture show."
That's derealization. The idea that when you're dissociated, your friend in front of you looks like a book cover. The title is right, the art is right, but when you open it up, the pages are blank. You're interacting with a prop, not the actual person.
It's all performance. You're going through the motions of friendship, but there's no substance.
And that is exhausting. Which leads right into dead language. This is about losing the fluency of a friendship. You know how with a best friend you just have a shorthand?
Oh, totally. A single look can be a whole conversation. It's like a native tongue only two people speak.
Exactly. And this track describes feeling like you suddenly need a translator for that language. The lyrics describe tracing the letters, knowing you should understand, but the meaning is gone. It's like trying to read hieroglyphics.
It's so scary. It makes you feel like an imposter in your own life.
Right.
You're smiling, you're nodding, but inside you're thinking, I have no idea how to be in this conversation.
And that desperation leads to Act 3. The intrusion. This is what happens when you try to force it. You try to brute force your way back in, and the whole system just starts glitching out.
The glitch. Let's talk about paper cuts.
So sonically, she brings in a solo violin here. And in the note, she says the violin is the nervous system. It's beautiful, high-strung, anxious.
It's constantly under tension.
And Paper Cuts is about those tiny, fleeting flashes of memory. You get a sudden image, a moment of joy, and it stings. It's a sharp pain. Because your nervous system flags that memory as a threat. It's too fast, too sharp.
It startles you and then it's gone. But the track that really explains the why behind all of this, the neurology of it, is Misfiled.
Yes. Misfiled is the neurological core of the whole album. The lyrics describe trying to laugh with a friend, but your brain files the sound under danger.
There's that line, the fire alarm goes off during a hug.
And that's a very real thing. This is the amygdala, the brain's smoke detector. In a traumatized brain, that smoke detector is way too sensitive. It sees the vulnerability of a hug, even a safe one, as a fire.
So you reach for a friend and your body reacts like you've touched a hot stove.
Exactly. Your heart rate spikes, you tense up. You are physically getting ready to fight or flee while your conscious mind is just trying to have coffee. The filing system is broken. Input, friend, output, run.
Which leads to blackout poetry. This is such a cool concept. You know, where you take a newspaper page and a marker and black out words to make a poem.
Yeah, it's a reductive art form. But here, it's a metaphor for redaction. She's trying to take a marker to her memories to cross out the bad parts. She thinks, if I just get rid of the trauma, I'll be fine. But the marker tip is too thick.
And her hand is shaking.
Exactly. So while she's trying to cross out the horror, she accidentally blacks out the context of her own life. I sacrificed joy to kill the despair. Now there's nothing but black bars everywhere.
That is just devastatingly clear. In trying to edit your own history, you just end up ruining the whole story.
Which brings us to the turning point. Act 4, reconstruction. Because you finally realize that staring at the black bars isn't working. You can't think your way out of this.
The source material says that trying to sort through the mess on the floor, all that rumination, it doesn't fix the library.
No, you can't use your intellect to solve a problem your nervous system created. And this is where the album's energy completely shifts. The track is Crack the Spine, and it's the real anthem of the record.
I love the physicality of that. Crack the spine. Taking a stiff, new book or a frozen, traumatized body and just forcing it open.
The lyrics are so direct. It hurts to open, it hurts to bend, but that's the only way the story will extend. This is about choosing to socialize when every instinct is screaming at you to isolate.
It's active. It's not about waiting to heal. You have to be the one to break the glue.
And once you've cracked it open, you can become the bookbinder. This track is all about acceptance. She realizes the old library will never be the same. The chronology is a mess. But she decides she can stitch the pages together into a new book.
Finding the joy right next to the grief.
Exactly. It's a patchwork. It's imperfect. But it's a functional volume. It holds together.
Which brings us to what might be the most important track on the album. The solution. It's called Fresh Ink.
Fresh Ink. This is the pivot. The entire album up to this point is about looking backward. Trying to find old keys, read old pages, restore what was lost.
But here, she realizes she has a pen.
That's the whole breakthrough. The research she did pointed to this. The only way to heal the archive, to get the hippocampus back online, is to generate new safety. You can't find the old file. You have to write a new one.
The key lyric is, I'm not looking for the old cover anymore. I'm writing a chapter that includes you.
And notice that shift. It's not, I need to feel what I felt 10 years ago, is I need to record what's happening right now. She makes the decision to just stay in the room with her friend.
I'm staking a claim on this new land.
She's overriding the old corrupted data.
Yeah.
By making new jokes, by drinking coffee now, by being present, she's actively proving to her brain in real time that she is safe. She's writing new entries into the system.
It's like overwriting a corrupted sector on a hard drive with clean data.
That's a perfect analogy. You just flood the system with present tense safety until it calms down.
And that leads us to the epilogue. The librarian returns.
And this is the payoff. The librarian, the hippocampus, she doesn't come back because she was yelled at or shamed into it.
She came back because the environment was safe again.
Exactly. Ti-Fi made the library a safe place to work again by using fresh ink. By filling the shelves with new, safe memories, the librarian got curious. She came up from the basement to start filing all the new stuff.
The track literally ends with the sound of the library's lights humming back on.
It's a beautiful ending. It doesn't mean the torn-out pages are back. The trauma still exists, but the system is back online. The restricted wing is open for business again.
This entire journey from the crash to the fresh ink, it gives such a practical map for dealing with that numbness.
It really does. It demystifies it. It's not some deep character flaw. It's just a filing error.
So what's the big takeaway for someone listening who might feel like they're staring through that frosted glass right now?
I think the takeaway is that the before isn't gone forever. It's just restricted. And more importantly, you don't need to find the old keys. You don't have to keep rattling the old door. You have a pen.
That's it. If you write enough new pages, you coax the system back to life.
You build a new, safe context. It takes patience, and it takes that really hard, spine-cracking effort to stay in the room when you want to run, but it works.
So here's a final thought for you to take with you. We all have locked wings in our own libraries, places where the lights are off. Are you still standing there, rattling the gate, trying to use an old key that doesn't fit anymore? Or are you willing to sit down, open a blank page, and start writing something new?
Sometimes the only way to save the history is to extend the story.
A huge thank you to the source material, The Restricted Wing by Ti-Fi, for giving us this incredible blueprint.
A truly fascinating film for the years.
Thanks for listening to this deep dive. We'll see you on the next one.
Take care.